Todd Young Online presents Young Tales. Tales for the young and the young at heart. Today's story, Bulfinch's Mythology. Stories of gods and heroes. The story of Pygmalion. Pygmalion was a sculptor of unparalleled skill, whose hands could coax life from stone, yet his heart remained untouched by love. Disillusioned by the flaws he saw in the women around him, he resolved never to marry. He devoted himself entirely to his art, seeking perfection in the stillness of ivory rather than the imperfections of life. One day, inspired by an ideal that existed only in his imagination, Pygmalion began his greatest work. From a single block of ivory, he carved the figure of a maiden, each detail crafted with precision and care. Her pose was graceful yet modest, her expression tender yet mysterious. The statue seemed to breathe, so lifelike was its form, and yet it remained frozen in silence. Pygmalion called her Galatea, a name befitting her beauty. At first, Pygmalion admired his creation with the pride of an artist, but as the days passed, admiration turned to obsession, and obsession to love. He gazed at Galatea as though she could meet his eyes, ran his fingers over the smooth contours of her face, and whispered words meant for her ears alone. To his unhearing maiden, Pygmalion brought gifts: polished shells from the sea, brilliant stones, and flowers of every hue. He draped her in fine garments and adorned her with jewels, imagining how she would glow in their splendor if she were alive. At night, he laid her on a couch of Tyrian purple, resting her head on soft pillows as if she might feel their comfort. "You are perfect," he whispered to her. No mortal could compare. Yet her silence was a constant reminder of the distance between them, and his heart ached with longing. The festival of Venus, goddess of love, arrived, bringing with it a wave of celebration to the island of Cyprus. The air was thick with the scent of incense, and the altars smoked with offerings to the divine. Pygmalion, though consumed by his devotion to Galatea, could not ignore the call of the festival. He joined the crowd, carrying his unspoken hope to the goddess's sacred altar. Kneeling before the flames, Pygmalion prayed with trembling words. "Goddess of love, who grants all desires, hear my plea. I do not dare to ask for the impossible. Grant me, I pray, a wife like my ivory maiden." Though he could not bring himself to name Galatea, his heart's wish was clear. Venus, ever attentive to matters of love, heard his prayer. The flame on her altar leapt high 3 times, a sign of her favor. Pygmalion returned home, his heart filled with a cautious hope. Entering his studio, he approached Galatea where she lay on her couch, her form still and cold. Tentatively, he leaned down and kissed her lips. To his astonishment, they felt warm beneath his own. He drew back, scarcely daring to believe. Gently he pressed his fingers to her hand, and the ivory yielded, soft and warm like flesh. Overcome with joy and disbelief, he touched her face, her arms, her shoulders. Everywhere he felt the unmistakable signs of life. The once ivory maiden stirred beneath his touch. Galatea's eyes opened, wide with wonder, and her cheeks flushed with the soft bloom of life. She gazed at Pygmalion, her first sight in the world, and her lips parted in a tentative smile. She reached out, her fingers trembling as they met his. Pygmalion, overwhelmed with gratitude, turned to Venus, thanking her for her divine gift. The goddess appeared in a radiant light, blessing the union of the sculptor and his living masterpiece. "Your love has brought her to life," Venus declared. "May it sustain her now, and may your devotion to one another bring you happiness." Galatea, though new to the world, responded to Pygmalion's love with an innocent warmth. They were married, and from their union was born Paphos, a child of beauty and grace, after whom the city sacred to Venus would be named. The tale of Pygmalion and Galatea has endured through the ages, a timeless reminder of the power of love and the beauty of creation. It speaks of devotion so deep it moves the gods, and the idea that perfection, though imagined, can sometimes take on a life of its own. And here's where we end for today. Young Tales is produced and narrated by Todd Young from Todd Young Online. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and join us next time for another story. Thank you for your support.